Welcome back.
Welcome back. So today we are going to make pumpkin pie. We're going to make it two different ways, using pumpkin puree and using an actual pumpkin. We're going to see what the difference is and see if we can taste the difference. So before we get started, here's a little joke for you. What do you get when you divide the jack-o'-lantern circumference by its diameter? Pumpkin pie. Haha. All right, terrible, terrible. So without further ado, let's get cooking. To start, we're going to prep the pumpkin for the non-canned pumpkin pie by cutting in half. Oh, that's unfortunate. The pumpkin is a little moldy on the inside. However, like Daniel Porter says, we can sing a sad song and turn it around.
Itchy. Hey Daddy, I know what you do the icky stuff and then I can do that stuff. I don't want to eat that pumpkin.
You don't want to eat that pumpkin? So we're going to scoop out the seeds and remove the rotten pumpkin so that we're just left with the good pieces, which turned out to be just enough to make the pie. Then we're going to throw this in the oven at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 30 minutes or until you can insert a fork into the pumpkin with ease. While that pumpkin is roasting, we are going to make the pie crust.
Making the dough.
Making the dough. This is doubled since we're making two pies, so we're going to take 2.5 cups of flour, add 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and add 1 cup of cold butter.
I want to taste the butter.
You want to taste it?
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Okay. This piece.
That's a lot. We want this butter to be cold, so that helps make it nice and flaky. Like that?
That's how we make dough. I don't want to sweet up because I don't want to get dough on me.
Then we're going to squeeze the butter into our hands with the flour.
This is fun.
So that we make a breadcrumb-like substance with the dough. Also, a little disclosure, here we're using plant-based butter only because it's healthier than regular butter. However, you won't get that same kind of flake that you would with regular butter, and this butter also melts faster, making it even harder to get that flake. So if you do want that flake, highly suggest using regular, but it still does taste great.
They look like little finger puppets.
So once we get that breadcrumb-like substance, we're going to add some ice cold water. We want to add about 1/2 cup in total, but we're going to add a little at a time to ensure that we don't add too much. Basically, we just want enough for the dough to form a ball. Then we're going to throw this into the fridge for at least 2 hours, or you can let it rest overnight. While that's resting and our pumpkin is still baking, we're going to make our canned pumpkin pie filling. To start, we're going to add 2 cups or 15 ounces of pumpkin puree, 1 cup brown sugar, 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of ground cloves, 1 teaspoon of ginger, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. Make sure you get the real maple syrup. Then we're going to mix that on up so that our spices are evenly dispersed and everything is nice and combined. Then we're going to add 1 cup of condensed sweetened milk.
Hey, Free, I have some.
Is that good?
No.
It's good, isn't it? And 3 eggs. Don't be like me and just add the eggs. Make sure to beat them before adding it so that you don't get clumps of egg whites anywhere later on.
Sliding right in.
Then we're going to mix this on up. Once it's nice and smooth, it's ready to go. Now that the pumpkin is done roasting, we're going to remove the pumpkin from the outer shell and throw that into a food processor while she makes lovely music with a straw. Once the pumpkin is in, we're going to add 1 cup of sweetened condensed milk. We're adding this to the food processor to help blend the pumpkin, and we're going to need to add it later on anyways. Once it's blended and nice and smooth, we're going to throw this in our bowl with a lot of the same ingredients as the canned pumpkin. So we're going to add 1 cup of brown sugar, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, 1 teaspoon of ground cloves, 2 tablespoons of maple syrup, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and 1 teaspoon of ginger.
I like to shoot them in there.
Like shoot them in there?
Yeah.
Then we're going to mix that on up like a crazy person before adding 3 eggs. Once again, make sure to beat these first.
It's right in.
Then mix that on up, and then we're going to take 1 tablespoon of cornstarch, add 1 tablespoon of water to it, and mix that on up so that no clumps. And then we're going to add that in. This will help thicken the pie filling since this is a lot more runny than the canned pumpkin. Now it's time to roll out the pie crust. Side note, sorry about the lighting. I wasn't paying attention to the sun coming through the window. Anyway, we're going to start by flouring our counter, cutting the dough ball in half.
Could I eat some?
And rolling it out into a circle, placing that in our pie pan, pressing the corners down so that there are no gaps, and then rolling in our edges to ensure that we have proper edging, and then crimping the edges to make it look pretty.
That's a little piece.
What do you say?
Thank you.
Then we're going to dump our canned pumpkin filling into the pie crust And then do the same for the other pie and dump the fresh pumpkin pie filling into that as well. Then we're going to pop these into the oven at 425 degrees for about 40 minutes. All right, so there we have it. There we have our pumpkin pie made with actual pumpkin and our pumpkin pie made with pumpkin puree. So you ready to try it? You can try that one? The one made with pumpkin puree? All right, go for it.
I want the crust.
You just want the crust?
Yeah.
That's all you want?
Yeah. It's still dough.
It's good dough?
Yeah.
That's good. All right, yeah, that one is absolutely delicious. Your traditional pumpkin pie. Wouldn't change a thing. So, you like to try this one? Or are you just going to continue to eat the crust?
I'm going to eat the crust.
Okay. That one is good too. Honestly, I can't really tell you the difference between the two. They taste pretty much the same. I mean, the only thing that's different is the color. This one is a little bit lighter than this one. This one has a smooth finish, whereas this one's kind of bubbly. But other than that, it tastes the same. I actually expected it to taste a little bit different, given that I didn't think pumpkin puree would actually taste exactly like pumpkin. So with that being said, if you like this video, hit that like button down below. If you want to see more like it, hit the subscribe button, notification bell so you can be notified every time we make a new video. Until next time, we'll see you later.
Bye.